Chapter 16. After the princess was returned to her cell, Vader met with Tarkin in the Death Star conference room. Tarkin said, "What of the search for the plans?" "I am convinced that the princess sent them down to the planet Tatooine with a pair of droids. A short time ago, a starship made a highly illegal blast-off from the Mos Eisley spaceport on Tatooine after her crew exchanged fire with a squad of stormtroopers. The ship then entered hyperspace, evading pursuit. The droids in question were thought to be aboard her." Tarkin grimaced. "And our stormtroopers were outfought? Our Starfleet evaded? How is this possible? Whose ship was it?" "That is difficult to say," Vader said. "She has false identification markings and a forged registration. Moreover, she was an extremely fast and elusive vessel, probably one of the smugglers who congregate in that region." An Imperial officer entered the conference room and reported that scout ships had traveled to Dantooine, but discovered only the remains of a rebel base that had been deserted for some time. After the officer left, Tarkin exploded with rage. "She lied!" Tarkin snarled. "She lied to us!" As much as Vader respected Tarkin's indifference to mass murder, the Grand Moff's rattled outburst indicated that Princess Leia had clearly won this particular battle of wills. Unable to resist driving a splinter into Tarkin's demented psyche, Vader said, "I told you she would never consciously betray the rebellion." Tarkin scowled at Vader. "Terminate her, immediately." Vader moved across the conference room to a communications console. With his helmet facing the comlink, he said, "Detention area security. Schedule the prisoner in cell 2187 for execution in 1 standard hour." "Yes, Lord Vader," answered a voice from the comlink. Glaring at Vader's back, Tarkin said, "I said immediately, Lord Vader." Vader was about to respond when a comlink buzzed on the table in front of Tarkin. He pushed the button and said, "Yes." From the comlink, an Imperial officer announced, We've captured a freighter entering the remains of the Alderaan system. Its markings match those of a ship that blasted out of Mos Eisley. Processing the information, Vader hypothesized, "They must be trying to return the stolen plans to the princess. She may yet be of some use to us." Vader proceeded to Death Star Docking Bay 327, where a tractor beam had deposited the captured ship. Entering the large hangar, Vader recognized the battered vessel as an old Corellian YT 1300 stock light freighter. He also noted its customized features, including illegal military-grade blaster cannons and an absurdly large top-of-the-line sensor dish on the port side. "Definitely a smuggler ship," Vader thought as he walked past the squad of stormtroopers who were guarding the ship. A gray uniformed Imperial captain and a pair of stormtroopers stepped down the ship's landing ramp. Stopping before Vader, the captain said, "There's no one on board, sir. According to the log, the crew abandoned ship right after takeoff. It must be a decoy, sir. Several of the escape pods have been jettisoned." "Did you find any droids?" "No, sir," the captain replied. "If there were any on board, they must also have been jettisoned." "Send a scanning crew aboard," Vader ordered. "I want every part of the ship checked." "Yes, sir." Vader looked up at the ship's hull. "I sense something. A presence I've not felt since Mustafar." Then it hit him. Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's alive! Nearly an hour after the freighter had been captured, Grand Moff Tarkin was at his usual place in the conference room when Darth Vader announced, "He is here." "Obi-Wan Kenobi," Tarkin said with disbelief. "What makes you think so?" "A tremor in the Force," Vader answered. "The last time I felt it, I was in the presence of my old master. Surely he must be dead by now. Don't underestimate the power of the Force." "The Jedi are extinct," Tarkin insisted. "Their fire has gone out in the universe. You, my friend, are all that's left of their religion." A signal chimed from the comlink at the console in front of Tarkin's seat. Tarkin pressed a console button and said, "Yes?" From the comlink, a voice said, "We have an emergency alert in detention block AA-23. "The princess!" Tarkin exclaimed. Put all sections on alert. Obi-Wan is here, Vader said. The Force is with him. If you're right, he must not be allowed to escape. Escape is not in his plan, Vader said knowingly. I must face him, alone. He turned for the door. As large as the Death Star was, he knew he would find the elusive Jedi Master. But first, he would make certain that a homing device was placed on the captured freighter. Although he was confident that Obi-Wan wouldn't leave the Death Star, he was actually counting on the possibility that the princess would. Obi-Wan Kenobi, wearing a dirty brown desert robe with a large cloak, had bypassed numerous stormtroopers and sophisticated security sensors by the time Vader sighted him, entering the dimly illuminated gray-walled access tunnel that led back to Docking Bay 327. Vader stood in plain sight, holding his red-bladed lightsaber at the ready, blocking Obi-Wan's path to the captured freighter. He looked so old, Vader thought, but knew better than to assume that the white-bearded Obi-Wan had weakened with age. As Vader moved slowly toward the hooded interloper, Obi-Wan activated his own blue-bladed lightsaber. I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan, Vader said, edging closer to the elderly Jedi. We meet again at last. The circle is now complete. Obi-Wan assumed an offensive stance. When I left you, Vader continued, I was but the learner, now I am the master. Only a master of evil, Darth, Obi-Wan said. Although Vader had not expected Obi-Wan to address him by the obsolete name of Anakin Skywalker, it was most unusual for anyone to call him by his Sith Lord title alone. Vader thought, he's trying to confuse me. Obi-Wan moved fast, lunging at Vader with his weapon, but the Dark Lord blocked the attack with ease. There was a loud electric crackle as their lightsabers made contact. Undeterred, Obi-Wan made a swift series of strikes, but each was parried by Vader. Your powers are weak, old man, Vader said. You can't win, Darth, Obi-Wan said, making Vader wonder if perhaps Obi-Wan was taunting him by refusing to address him properly. With incredible self-assurance, Obi-Wan added, if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. You should not have come back, Vader said. Their lightsabers clashed again and again, and their duel carried on until they were just outside Docking Bay 327. As they moved toward the door that led directly into the hangar that contained the captured freighter, Vader heard the approaching footsteps of stormtroopers running toward his position. Vader's blade was crossed with his opponent's when Obi-Wan threw a glance into the hangar. Vader kept his eyes riveted on the Jedi. You won't get away from me this time. Unexpectedly, Obi-Wan raised his lightsaber before him and closed his eyes. His expression was serene. Vader could hardly believe it. He's surrendering. Without mercy, Vader swung hard with his lightsaber, slicing through Obi-Wan's form. He fully expected to hear the satisfying sound of Obi-Wan's ruined body collapsing upon the polished floor, and so was astonished to see only the Jedi's robe and lightsaber at his feet. Obi-Wan's body had completely vanished. No! A voice shouted from the hangar. Suddenly, the hangar was filled with the rapid reports of many blasters firing at the same time. Vader heard the shout and the blasters, but he paid them no attention. Astonished, he stared at Obi-Wan's weapon and empty robe, then prodded the clothes with his boot. Where is he? How could he vanish? What sort of trickery is this? From the hangar, over the din of the blaster fight, Vader heard Princess Leia call out, Come on, Luke, it's too late. Vader had no interest in stopping Princess Leia, nor did he wonder who Luke might be, but he couldn't let them get away too easily. Turning away from Obi-Wan's fallen robe and lightsaber, he headed for the hangar. But before he could reach the doorway, a man's voice in the hangar shouted, Bless the door, kid! There was a small explosion outside the doorway, and the two blast doors slid out from the walls to seal off the hangar. Moments later, Vader heard the freighter's engines roar to life, carrying the ship out of the hangar and away from the Death Star. It had been Vader's idea to plant the homing device on the freighter and to allow the princess to escape so she would unwittingly lead the Imperials to the secret rebel base. Vader had been confident that his plan would work, and yet, as he picked up Kenobi's lightsaber, he realized that he was now less certain of what the future held. It was determined that the freighter had traveled to Yavin 4, the same moon where Anakin Skywalker had dueled Asajj Ventress during the Clone Wars. First Tatooine, now Yavin 4, Vader thought. Despite his devotion to the power of the dark side of the Force, he had the nagging sense that his past was coming back to haunt him. Once the Death Star arrived in the Yavin system and was within 30 minutes range of destroying the moon with the rebel base, Vader's confidence returned. Today will be a day long remembered, he told Tarkin in the Death Star control room. It has seen the end of Kenobi. It will soon see the end of the rebellion.